Hello, everyone. Paddy
I'm
was
back.
itching to, yeah, Paddy's back. Paddy he's not got his new setup yet, but he was itching to do another mob story, so he's back with another one, with another banger, hopefully. How are you doing, Paddy?
Good, good, Rob. What's up, bro? How are you?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good, thank you very much. Right, Paddy, I'm just gonna shut up really and just
Shut
say over
up.
to you. Yeah, just shut up. I'm just gonna say over to you and take it away.
Right, what are you gonna bring up pictures in the background?
No, no, I'm not going to bring up pictures in the background. What I'll do is when this is finished, then I'll add the pictures, okay? But I will do the video. Yeah, I'll do the
Okay.
video with him. All right. So today we're going to talk about Joey Cupcakes, and Paddy's got a few fascinating stories with Joey Cupcakes, haven't you, Paddy? But
Yeah.
did
I'm a
first of
long
all,
time. I know Joey. It's 50 years, just about.
okay, cool. So who is Joey Cupcakes then, Paddy? Who is he?
Joey Cupcakes is the son of Angelo Cheesecake Urgitano. He was dead now. Angelo, he died in 1998. He was a made member of Lucchese family, and then he became a capo. And they were a legend. The father was a legend of Pleasant Avenue, basically, Angelo. He's very close with, with the Rayos. And he was always in Rayos drinking and everything, And he used to come to my uncle's club and play cards all the time, And, you can't talk about Pleasant Avenue pretty much without talking about Joey Cupcakes and his father, Angelo Cheesecake, you know? So basically, I'm gonna go back years ago when I was a kid, right? Well, basically, it goes before that. When my mother and Joey's mother and my father and Joey's father were very close in the '60s, and my mother was pregnant to me, and she was pregnant to Joey at the same time. We're 6 months apart. I'm 6 months older than him. I was born in May, and he was born in November. And then I remember as a kid when I lived when we left Harlem and we went to Jersey, we used to come back every weekend. And my grandmother had an apartment right up the block between 115 and 116. And we used to come every weekend, and we used to stay with my grandmother. And I remember as a kid, running up and down the block between 115 and 116. And there was a couple of kids there, but later on I found out I was like, it was this young guy, he used to run around and they used to ask my father and my mother, I said, this is mom, dad. I said, who was that kid that used to run with me up and down the block? And that was Joey Cupcake Argentano. I said, I couldn't remember back then. We were like 5 years old, you know. And then after, we left after it was like we stopped going to Harlem after my mother's sister got killed. She got hit by a car on the avenue. And then after that, my father, he took off on the lam, and that was like about 71. And then I didn't come back until I was like about 17 years old to the neighborhood, hanging around with my uncle at the social club there. But then later on, when this is what happened. My uncle, my father's brother, this is gonna sound weird, you know. My aunt, my mother's sister, right, on a corner of 100 and 116 on Pleasant Avenue, directly right across the street, my mother's sister was hit by a car on the corner. A car jumped, was coming off the East River Drive, and the I will never forget it. We used to run to the corner when the fire trucks used to come, and they used to come down from Second Avenue, and they used to come down 116 to Pleasant Avenue, and they used to make a left, and they used to go up. So every time we used to hear them coming, we used to run to the corner. You know, to see them passing by, the old hook and ladder, the guy in the back driving it and everything. And me, Joey, and a couple other kids. And then that one day, like on Pleasant Avenue, there was cars used to be double, triple parked, you know? And this one day, there was no cars in front of the building, and it was all, like I said, it was to be double and triple parked. And I never forget it, the fire engines were coming. And we used to run to the corner, and all of a sudden, the fire engines are coming down, and this guy's coming off the drive, you know? And all of a sudden, this guy got scared, and he lost control of the car. And my aunt seen him coming, and we were running in front, and she shoved me out of the way, and she shoved two other kids out of the way, and the car jumped the curb and it pinned her up against the wall. You know, and then from there, they took her to the hospital. She lost her leg, and then she died from poison, gangrene. You know, and then 14 years later, on directly across the street, my father's brother, my Uncle Al, got hit by a car. Directly across the street, there was where we used to live, my grandmother, and right across the street there was Benjamin Franklin High School. And my uncle, he was coming from his house. He lived in between my grandmother, us, and Joey Cupcakes. And he was walking across the street, and a guy came out of nowhere and hit him. And he was in the hospital for like a week. And I'll never forget it. He was coming home, right? He called my brother up, and it was weird because my uncle was, he was part of the church. He was the grand master of the feast they used to have there and everything. And he tells my brother, he goes, Gary, he goes, I'm coming home tomorrow. He goes, do me a favor before I come home. He goes, bring me some Playboy magazines. And then my brother's going, wait, after he hung away, he goes, yeah, all right, Uncle Al. And he comes back and he goes, you know something? He goes, Uncle Al asked me for fucking porno magazine. I said, he was never like that, you know? Right? So my brother's going to bring them to him. And that next day was my birthday, my 19th birthday. So I throw a party in the house. I got a party going. I got like 50 people there. And all of a sudden the phone rings. And we pick up the phone. My uncle passed away on my birthday. He died. And when he got hit by the car, he had a blood clot. And it went to his heart. So on that avenue over there, it was weird. I had an uncle and an aunt killed on either side of the street there. And she saved me and Joey Cupcakes' life. Basically, she shoved us out of the way. So that's why after that, all that shit happened. I wasn't back home. I didn't go back to the avenue. As a matter of fact, when they were laying my uncle out, right on Pleasant Avenue on 116, so this was happening. I'm there with my cousin Giselle, and her cousin Frankie, the one, what happened later on. So I'm sitting here, right, we're on the corner, and all of a sudden I see this kid walking up, and I'm with my cousin and her cousin Frankie. I go, who's this fucking fag? He goes, that's Joey Cupcake. I said, that's fucking Joey? I haven't seen him in years. He walked up, and my cousin introduced us. She goes, you two don't remember. He goes, Joey, this is my cousin Patty. And he goes, this is Joey. I said, holy shit. I said, yo, bro, I said, when we were kids, we used to run up and down the block. He goes, did we? I says, yeah. He goes, well, how do you remember? I says, ask my mother and my father. I says, who was that kid from down the block? He goes, that was Joey Argentano, Joey Cupcakes Argentano. And then we finally met up. So let's start from there. So now it goes down basically. Joey and Frankie were partners. They were childhood friends. They were very close. And back then, Frankie was 18 and Joey was 20. So they wind up getting in business. So now they were selling all kinds of weed, you know, and they're selling pounds and pounds and pounds of weed. So they were always looking for a good coke connection, you know, and they couldn't find it. So one day, Frankie runs into this guy, you know, and he goes, yo, he goes, I got whatever you want. He goes, I got an unlimited supply. He goes, but you got to do one thing. And he's like, what? He goes, listen, you got to exclude Joey Cupcake. He's like, why? He goes, because if his father finds out, he's going to kill me. Because his father, you know, they all say they don't have nothing with drugs, this and that. And he goes, like, all right, you know, don't worry. He goes, I could think Joey will understand that, but he knew Joey wouldn't understand that, so we never told him. And now what happens now? They're selling weed, so now Joey don't know. Frankie, Dominick Cicale gets in touch with Frankie, and he tells him, you know, he says, listen, I got somebody, you know, the guy that's paying $32,000 a key up in the Bronx. He goes, he wants a better price. He goes, I could beat that, no problem. He goes, Dominick, I'll give it to you about 24, 25. And the guy's paying 32, so tack on 3,000, 4,000 for yourself. And you give it to the guy for about 29, you know? So that's what they did. But Dominick Cicale came down, he took the key off Frankie. And then Frankie goes to me, he goes, Dominick, you want another key? He goes, hold on to it, you know? Dominick goes, no. He goes, this is my first deal, you know? So he took Frankie up to the Bronx with him. Frankie waited at his house. He went and got it, took it, got the money, came back, they counted everything out. And then as Frankie's leaving, he goes, Dom, you sure don't want to leave you with another key? And Dominick's like, no, don't worry about it. So now, I think it's like a week or two goes by. So his friend, Dominick's friend, says, yo, he goes, I'm gonna need something in a couple of days. So Dominick goes, all right, let me go down to Harlem. And he goes, I'll go look for Frankie and I'll get you something. So Dominick comes down. And I never met Dominick, you know, so I didn't know what they were doing. I was doing my own thing. And all of a sudden he comes down, he's beeping Frankie, he's not getting no answers and all. And he comes down to the neighborhood and he's all driving around, he's looking for him and everything. He's asking people, anybody see Frankie? And I'm like, nah, Frankie hasn't been around in a while. Then he sees JOEY Cupcakes, and he goes, Joey, where's Frankie? I go, I don't know, I haven't seen him. You know? He goes, how long has he been around? He says, I don't know, a couple of weeks. So finally, nobody can find Frankie. So now, I'm at my cousin's house up in Jersey, right? And we used to go up there, like, you know, every week or so. Now, this is one of my boy cousins. They were in the life and everything. And all of a sudden we're sitting there and he goes, Gabby, you seen Frankie around? No, I haven't seen Frankie in about a month. He goes, Frankie's missing. No? He goes, he's missing 2 weeks. We can't find him. I was like, holy shit. I said, I don't know. This is the last time I seen him, we were in front of the Delightful. And he was telling me he had, back in 86, right? They came out with the new little Corvettes. Remember the new little Corvettes in 86? Well, you were a kid, man. It's when they changed the whole model, you know? And Frankie bought one. He bought a yellow vet, and he was paying it off. He had to order it. And I remember him telling me when I seen him for the last time in front of Delightful. He goes, yo, he says, I just bought a brand new yellow vet. They're ordering for me. I'm going to paint it off. I forget what he paid for it back then. I think it was like about 30,000. And I remember telling him, I go, yo, Frank, I said, listen, I got weed, I got whatever the fuck you want. He goes, all right, no problem. He goes, listen, I gotta go. He goes, and I'll talk to you. And that was the last time I seen him. So months are going by. It's about 6, 8 months. His body washed up in the East River. His body washed up and it was all mangled. It was eaten by everything. Because what happened there, what they found out, that they threw him in a barrel. You know, they killed him. Joey killed him in the park. He killed him in Jefferson Park. Middle of the night, he found out what Frankie was doing with Dominick Cicale. And he got fucking totally jealous, and he set Frankie up. And he says, Frankie, I need to see you. He goes, I got a guy that wants fucking over $250,000 worth of pot, but I ain't got the money. I need the money. And Frank goes, yeah. He goes, all right, I'm coming down to see you. And he was coming back from Dominick Cicale after coming down from the Bronx. So now this is like 2 o'clock in the morning. So Joey wasn't in front of his house, and they were asking, where's Joey? And a couple of kids told him, he said, Joey said if we see you, he's in Jefferson Park. He wants to see you, but he don't want nobody to see him. And what happened was he went into Jefferson Park, and Joey found out that he excluded him from the coke deal. So he wound up shooting him in the fucking head. They got into an argument. And now these are best friends from when they were like 10 years old. And Joey got all bent out of shape. He got jealous. And he shot Frankie in the head in the park. And then they went to go get somebody. And they came back with an 80-gallon barrel. And he come back with an 80-gallon barrel. And they rolled the barrel into the park. They threw Frankie in the barrel, and they carried him out. They put whatever, he had a truck there or something, and they went down to the drive, and they threw him off the dock. You know, they weighted the barrel down, and he's gone. You know? And then, like I said, 8 months later, Frankie washes up. His body washes up on 10th Street on the East River. So now, you know, his mother's like, oh, his body washed up. At least, you know, we found him. You know, he's gone. She was hysterical. So now they have a funeral for him in Jersey where he lives. So now they got, it's a closed casket. They got they got his remains in there, you know. So the place was packed. I wasn't there. I couldn't go, you know. I was so bent out of fucking shape. My cousin went. So now Joey shows up to the funeral, you know, and he's there, and the place is packed, right? And everybody, sitting there, the coffin's there. All of a sudden, Joey starts crying, he's flipping out, you know, and crying, and he's at the casket, you know. Now he's flipping out because now he's realizing what he did because he was all coked up into that. And he tried to open up the casket to jump in the casket with him. You believe this fucking sick bastard? He was going to jump in the casket. They jumped on him, you know. He was trying to unlock the thing, and they held him down and everything, but they didn't know what happened now, you know. So now people are seeing how the way he's acting, you know. Somebody ratted him out. It was maybe a couple months later. So in the midst of that time, he took Frankie's business over. He was making all kinds of fucking money. You know, he wound up buying this huge fucking Mercedes back in '86. I think it was like a year old. It was one of the big ones back then. I forget what model it was. It was all white. It was royal blue on the inside. It had one of them rag tops, or royal blue rag top. It was all gold trimmed out. This car was all tricked out. You know, and they're riding all over the place. So this sick bastard was going down when the feast was on. And he come down the block, and there's all people on the block during a feast. And this motherfucker's riding down the block. You know, like he's flashing every fucking thing. So finally someone rats him out. Not even a year later. And they get him. So they arrest him. And now we're pissed all of us off. They never charged him with the murder. They charged him with manslaughter, and they charged him with drug dealing, you know? So he winds up getting 9 to 27 years in state prison, you know? So they locked him up. He did out of that, he did 20 years. He came home in 2007, you know? And now he's on parole and everything, but you know, he had money, he probably had money stashed around, you know what I'm saying, Rob? And now he's running around, right? He's going with all these people. He winds up becoming like an urban legend, you know, or say a city legend. And now when he comes home, all these people, they're like flocking to him because he was very eccentric, you know what I'm saying? Like Joey, like he came one time, right? There's a picture of it, you know, on the internet. Bought a motorcycle and everything. And he's got a motorcycle helmet, right? Now on the helmet, of course, you know, the top of the helmet, this sick bastard has got his prison number on the top, you know, the black helmet, and it has 88, I think it was 88A, because those are the numbers they used to be when you used to get locked up, a number in a state. It would be like, say, like 66A, and then 4 numbers. He had it put on his motorcycle helmet, his prison number, when he was riding around, you know? And now he's got all the bikes, he's got the Mercedes and no more. He must have made millions and millions of dollars, you know? And he pre-staged all that shit, you know what I'm trying to say? Got something to say? You want to say something? I mean, I'm talking. You got any input so far?
My mic on mute for a sec.
Now
You
I
should be
hear.
able to hear me now. Yeah, just a few things. He was only 20 years old, wasn't he, Joey Cupcakes, when he committed the murder? So he was a young man. His he was or is, I don't know whether he was then, but a Lucchese associate. So he was had ties with the mob. And what went through my mind,
You know, so basically he was running the streets. He didn't come an associate, basically. He didn't come home until the father died, you know?
because his
That's when,
father was the capo, wasn't he? A big shot in Harlem.
yeah, Angela.
Joe,
Angela
yeah, and
Cheese.
Angelo Cheesecake. And he wasn't like, because Joe, like you said, was a flash guy, and he didn't like what Joey was doing because he thought it brought attention to Joey and subsequently his father. One of the things that went through my head when you were saying about that Joey in the funeral, when Joey realized what he did, and then he kind of felt an overwhelming sense of remorse to then go and try to open the casket and jump in with the guy he killed. I just wonder if there was because I was thinking, I wonder if it was the case where it was a show where he was kind of putting on a show to say, oh, you know, it can't be me, it can't be me. Look how upset I am. I'm devastated about this. I don't know whether that's right. It pops into my head when you were saying it. I guess there's two theories to that, you know?
Uh-huh.
I guess neither of us.
He
But
he and he felt guilty. He fucking realized because he was so fucking high, he was using like a fucking maniac. Joe got on his fucking nose, the size of like probably like, you know, like the half the size of a fucking dime from sniffing coke all the years. You could put a rag up his nose and pull it out the other side. You know?
yeah. Oh well, I don't know. It just popped into me, like you said. Obviously, you think it's that, and I'm not going to dispute it because I don't know. But yeah, it could be though. It just like I said when you were speaking, I just thought it maybe it could have been the fact that if he kind of compensated, then people would look at him and go, "This guy couldn't have killed him," you know, because he's so upset. But anyway, just did you know about the story about him in Rayos?
And where Rayos?
Yeah,
He took down his picture. The
yeah.
feds came.
It's funny that our most of our conversations tie in with Rayos some way, isn't it?
Well, they put a picture up of him, you know, later on when he came home. You know, they have pictures of everything up in Rayo's, you know. So they had a picture up of him, his father. So he was supposedly palling out with Teddy Persico, you know, and the feds came in because Teddy Persico was always in trouble. To this day, he's still in jail. And they came into Rayo's and they took the picture off the wall. I don't know, for evidence or something. You know what I'm saying? Because they stole, you know what I mean? They didn't like him for what happened. You know what I mean? And Joey, later on, this is like now, and I'm trying to think what year it was, 2012, I believe it was, it might have been, or 2012 or 14. They were out in Manhattan.
Can I just before we jump into that one, can I just read a segment of an article from the New York Times, if that's all right, about Joey. So Joey was first eligible for parole in 1997, but in his 5 appearances before the board that year and in 2005, he was denied release. The transcripts show that Cupcakes, who attended Cardinal Hayes High School in the Bronx and earned a college degree in prison as an articulate young man who was becoming increasingly frustrated. Around the time of the 2007 hearing that led to his release, he submitted a scathing diatribe to the parole board, angry about how previous hearings had gone and had been recorded. He questioned, for instance, one parole commissioner had asked him during the proceedings about how to get a table at Rayo's. He was clearly offended by her suggestion that there was something nefarious about the establishment. He wrote, in part, request, please tell Miss Rodriguez, who was the parole commissioner, I said if she really wants to know how to get a reservation at Rayo's, ask your boss. He's eaten there a few times. Perhaps he can tell her.
Yeah, Joey would shit like that, you know? That's true, because people trying to get in Rayo's, they didn't know what to do, you know?
That is brilliant.
I believe this was in 2012 or 2014. Now, Joey and his little crew, they're out in Manhattan, in the meatpacking district. The meatpacking district's on the west side of Manhattan in like the teens, you know, the 20s, on the west side. So now, there's a bunch of clubs over there. So they're out in the club, you know, and they're hanging out, and they wind up leaving. You know, they're hanging out, and all of a sudden, his 2 friends is getting to an argument with some guys. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, they're fighting with these guys. So Joey runs to the car and he grabs a baseball bat. And he runs back there. He starts beating the shit out of one of the fucking guys. So they leave these guys on the floor. They jump in the car with the bat in the car and everything. They take off, and somebody got the plate number, and they call the cops. And they're going down. They get pulled over. They find the bat in the car. They find every fucking thing. And I think they found drugs on him and everything. And he gets arrested now. So now he violates parole. So now he goes back in. So now they got him in Rikers Island, you know? And he's over there. Now, John Pennisi tells a story about this. Joey Cupcakes calls him up. And he goes, listen, you got to come see me, because that was the same family, the Lucchese family. He goes, come see me in Rikers Island, you know? He goes, all right, I got to talk to you about shit. So John Pennisi goes there, he's talking with him and everything, and he's fucking mad because he thinks that the 2 guys that he was with ratted him out, his 2 friends. But now he's starting to get crazy because he's getting high again, he's on parole, you know, He's fucking. So his two friends that were with him there, he's asking John Pennisi, he goes, what about those two guys over there? You know, he's calling them no good, nothing, and everything. And John Pennisi's like, goes, well, what do you want me to do? He goes, well, they're down there with they're all over the place. He goes, go see them and tell them what I think of them, you know? So meanwhile, Joey goes back in, right? So now he's in Rikers, which is a fucking zoo. And, he's well known over there. So these two guys, and he's in walking around and these two guys jumping, you know? He's fighting with them and everything, and they got the best out of him, you know? Wait, hold on. Let me check this phone on Do Not Disturb so it don't. Okay, good. So he he gets jumped, right? So he gets a real good beating. So he comes home, right? So now the father, because the father went to go see him, and he's like, "What the fuck happened?" No, am I saying the father? No, this is. Wait, I'm trying to remember. Hold on. Excuse me, this is a long time ago. It wasn't his father, it was somebody else. His father was already gone, you know? Somebody else, they find out, now these two guys, they get released, and Joey's still there, you know? And he gets out on the street what these two guys did to them, then they find these two guys dead, you know? That torn them up in fucking Rikers Island. And that's why I'm saying now, because Dominick Cicale, that's what I thought about it. I go, hold on a second. I said, how the fuck could his father murder these two guys? His father was dead, you know? And and it don't make sense, you know? How could his father murder them? He's telling him in the video that his father murdered these people, Dominic. You gotta get his shit straight. And meanwhile, the father's dead, you know? So that happened there, so I guess nothing ever came of that, you know? So now we're gonna get to this video over here. You know what I'm saying? So now Joey had gotten married, came home. So I never forget. We were on the avenue, we were walking down towards Rayo. We want to see, my mother's girlfriend Anna McGuire. She used to cook there for years. She was one of the original cooks. And now after Joey killed Frankie, I had no use for him. I wouldn't even look at him. So we're walking down. We're in between. We're like, matter of fact, we're right by his house. And I see him get out of the car. I says, Gabby, I don't want to be fucking bothered with this guy. So he didn't even see me. So I kept walking. He goes, hey, Gabby, what's up? So my brother goes up and says, what the fuck are you going to see that kid? He killed fucking Frankie. Yeah, let me go and see him, So he was going into the brownstones that he still owns till today. He's got a brownstone there that's worth about $4 million still, where he grew up, you know? And my brother's talking to him. I go, what the fuck are you talking to him for? I just wanted to say hello. Fuck him. I made sure he didn't see me. You know what I'm saying? Because really, I was fucking pissed at him, for what he did to Frankie. And now it comes to this. So now this is in the videos in 2014 of this going on. You know? So you want to play it as we go, or you?
Yeah, I'll play it. Let me flash it up a minute. This is credit to John Pennisi in the sit down. I think it's a sit down news, isn't it? I've taken it from one of his
It's all over. I couldn't find the original one,
videos. No, I did have a look. I couldn't see it either. But right, here we go. Right, can you see it, Paddy? Hopefully everyone can see it. Right, I'll just let people read that little bit there.
Yeah, 2014. Yeah. All right, now Joey's seeing this kid, right? This girl. Now this kid, her role, I guess it was her ex-boyfriend. So what urged Joey was that he was there, but this guy was ringing the bell like crazy for about 5, 6 minutes. You know. So basically, Joey was a no nonsense kid, stand up as they come, but no nonsense. They're balls of steel. So now you're going to see him walking down with a bag in his hand, which he's got the knife in that bag, and the girl's chasing him. Like Joey would snap on a fucking dime, you know? So now he's opening the door and he's going after this kid. See what he's doing? He's stabbing him up. So they're blocking it now, but he's stabbing him up. So now the kid opens the door. Here he comes out. See him? He's stabbing him up. So now the kid runs back in. And Joey's chasing him. And the girl's in back of him, so now you can't see what's going on. So as this kid's running for his life, you know, and Joey's fucking stabbing him up, you know. And that this kid, he stabbed him in the head. The kid had to get staples in his head to close the wounds. You know, he's got fucking wounds all over him. So now watch him. He's going to come back down. And this is where he made his mistake. Everything's on camera. So here he comes now, right? Hold on, wait. He's stabbing him up still. He's going to walk down. And you don't see the knife. Or has he got it in the bag? And here he comes, watch. Kid's still on the ground. So he's going to work. He's going to work on this kid. Hold on, he's gonna come walking out. So here he comes. Right, he's his face. You can't. All right, now he's walking down. See him? He's walking out. You don't see no knife.
Done there. He's dropped something there, isn't he? He dropped something in the middle there.
No, he walks out now. Real smart. He wasn't thinking. He goes behind the building. See him? He goes behind the building and he dumps the knife in the dumpster behind the building. See? And runs away. He goes behind the building.
After the trial, he was.
He's not thinking. You know?
There was a few things. By the way, he was convicted 18 years, wasn't he? After that,
happened there. They offered him a plea for 8 years. He turned it down.
Well, he went to trial over that.
Yeah. He told the guy, he goes, I was defending myself. Defending? Yeah, he goes, he goes, I was defending myself. That's how much he ain't thinking.
So, I'll tell you what was the interesting part. The few things that I saw there is the first thing was the girlfriend doesn't exactly put a lot of effort into trying to stop Joey Cupcakes and getting at this guy, does she?
If she would have tried to grab him, he would have swung at her.
You reckon?
He's in a zone right now. He snapped. Now I know Joey snapped. So now the game's on. Once
so then so he opens the door and then he starts stabbing the dude in the leg, didn't he? And then the dude runs in to the apartment. So I guess, because you could say, oh well, why didn't he run away? But I guess when you're in that, wasn't expecting that to kind of happen to him.
You're gonna try any angle to get out, you know?
Yeah, you think so, but when you're in a heightened sense of emotion like that bloke was, then you're probably just like thinking you're getting stabbed all over the gap in the legs, and it's difficult to kind of guess to keep your head when those things are happening to you, isn't it? Really,
especially when you're getting stabbed.
You know yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
He just took off, figuring there was a back way out, or he could get away.
Yeah.
So Joey must have put him on the floor. Because he's a big kid. He's all cut up. Got fucking 6 packs. Because from being in jail for over years. So all he would do was work out, work out, work out, work out, work out. That's all you could do, you know?
I guess as well that the other guy, the ex-boyfriend, probably knows the apartment block quite well if he was seeing the girl there originally before Cupcake came on the scene. So
Yeah,
maybe he ran for a back entrance, but Cupcakes was too fast and caught up with him. And he was running with stab wounds all over his legs. It slowed him
yeah,
down, no doubt.
yeah. The kid was bleeding on the top of the head. He had holes in his head. They had to put staples in his head, and them
He
shits
didn't
hurt.
die. He
No,
didn't
no,
die then.
no. He's lucky, you know.
Yeah.
He's lucky because if he would have caught him anywhere, you know, in the torso, forget it. Joey would have kept going. He would have killed him, no problem. He had no problem killing this kid.
I think he was high on drugs during the time.
He might have been because I mean he liked the fucking coke. I can't say maybe he did, but when he snaps, he's very territorial. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
basically, if you got something that you want to take, he's gonna go off. You know?
Yeah. So is there any more that you'd like to add on Cupcakes?
No, after that, well, basically now he goes to trial, like I told you, and they offered him 8 years. And he turned it down because he says, I'm defending myself. To defend, what did the guy do to you? I mean, I don't think he had to been fucked up. He had to be fucked up for him to think something like that. If I was him, I would have took the 8 years in a heartbeat because
Oh,
you knew,
definitely.
something like this was going to happen. And then with the state, you got to do 85% of your time. Like the Fed, you got to do 86% of your time.
Do
He
you
ain't,
know if the
he ain't
guy
getting out,
who's
he's like, he ain't getting out for another, about 10 years.
is he still in there?
Go in.
Cupcakes, is he still in prison?
Go in prison. He's in Chewanga, upstate New York, the state.
What did you know if the guy who he stabbed testified against him or not?
He didn't have to testify against him because look at his tape.
No, I know what you mean, but it kind of adds credibility if the guy stood up there and said, "Oh, I guess it would add Paddy, it would add credibility to Cupcakes' case if the guy stood up there and said, "Oh no, it was just an argument between friends" or something like that. But at flip side, it could hurt Cupcakes if the guy jumped on the stand and said he was going to kill me.
Because after what he did with Frankie, I had no use for him. So I would even follow. I found this out later on. You know, later on I found out what happened. You know, so when I heard that he turned down the 8 years, I said, "What's wrong with this guy?" You know, it's ridiculous. They can't stand him. You know,
Maybe
they
just like
can't.
prison.
Yeah, he's been there now. He's going on. He had 20 years in plus the two violations that he got. 2 year violations. So it's 22 years. And now it's almost, he went to trial in 2018.
Right. Okay.
You
Yeah, he's
know,
got some time.
so he was locked up. I don't know. Either he got bail or if he got bail, it must have been anybody like, they like him. So if he had gotten bail on that, then he had no problem with somebody putting up his bail for him. You know?
Yeah. He's got an Instagram account, doesn't he? And it's you showed me it. It's at Joey JOEY C523. That's at Joey
Yeah.
C523. If anyone wants to check him out, he's got loads of videos up there. He's got loads of photos, and he's got photos with is it Big Pun or Fat Joe? Something like that. He's got some prominent. Yeah,
Fat
Fat
Joe,
Joe. Yeah, he's
Dominick
got.
he was on the set of The Irishman. He was invited on the set of The Irishman.
Who was?
Joey.
Was he invited on the set of The Irishman? Wow,
He was
I
with
didn't know
Dominic
that.
Cicale. Dominic Cicale played Fat Tony in there. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Okay. I, I tell you what, Paddy. We were going to touch on Cupcakes' father. Why don't we do Cupcakes' father and possibly his grandfather another show? Shall we?
Yeah, all right, cool, fine, no problem.
But we've done quite a bit. About an hour and a half, something like that.
Yeah, all right, that's cool because pretty much now he's in jail,
Yeah.
and his release date I think is to 2033, I believe. So he's still got,
2033.
and he's going to be fucking 67 years old by the time he gets out. And if he stays out of trouble, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Totally in
Joey.
it.
Shit happened, you know, with Frankie. After what he did with Frankie, when we found out, that was it. And I wiped my hands with him. You know, I wiped my hands with him. I didn't want nothing to do with him no more.
Yeah. Pretty dirty thing to do, wouldn't it?
No, he killed my cousin's cousin, and Frankie was like a cousin to me. And he pulled all this bullshit, and that was his best friend since they were like 10 years old.
Imagine what the dude does to his enemy.
That's what I'm saying. You know, see what happens. You know.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, really nuts. Right, Paddy, I'm going to close off the record, I think, in a minute or two, if that's all right with you.
Yeah.
And we'll catch up again on the next one, shall we?
Back, bros. We're back.
We're back. Back and stronger than ever before, eh? Right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you again soon.